What up, y'all? I know I'm not T Will because he's sitting right next to you leading this session, but I'm here to conduct a quick interview with the homie Justin Mob just because he couldn't be in the country right now, so he gave us a little bit of time on FaceTime. So let's jump into this. Yeah, I think first I'll just have you introduce yourself, tell us your name and the businesses you represent.
Yeah, so I go by the name of Justin Mobb, co-founder of the Cosmetic Lane. I work with a few other companies as well in the aesthetic and wellness company. I recently got hired as a business development manager for Sedation Inc., which is the only company in Florida who's doing a tattoo under anesthesia. So there's a lot of NBA players that are getting like big pieces done, like by going under. So there's one place that's in LA, and the place Sedation Inc. that I'm working with now, they're the only ones in Florida doing it. So we're trying to push that, that campaign and really try to get as many people, to join the movement.
Love that. Sick. I actually want to
Yeah.
ask more about that because I have seen you posting it on your page and the other page. But before we get to that, I kind of want to start back at the beginning a little bit. So
Hmm.
when I guess like saw your name across social media and the internet, obviously I was younger and not really doing the things I was doing. But what
Hmm.
I saw your name and associated with was the slow mo cups. So
Right.
I you and I kind of talked about it briefly like in the times before, but can you kind of like give like a nutshell of like what your involvement was with it and yeah, I guess a little background.
Yeah, so it was back, I think it was in 2017. So just to give a little background, just like, the majority of I guess like young black man, just like growing up and being a part of the culture, everybody wants to be in the music industry, right? So if you're not a rapper, you want to be a videographer, you want to be a DJ, you want to be a part of it. So for me, it was kind of like my entry point to a certain extent. Before that, I was working with this with Montreality, which is pretty much just like a
Oh,
yeah.
that's kind of crazy. Continue.
Yeah, 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 I know, right? So that's how everything started. I worked with Montreality first, and then when I moved to Toronto in 2013, 2014, I was still, going to shows and, being backstage. At that point, I was just like taking pictures, like as a photographer. And then I don't know what happened. I remember just being on Complex and seeing this product, which was a double cup that had the double lip, right? But it was just one cup. I wish I had one to show you, man. Like I don't even have any more samples. I think on my other spot I do, but you can show if there's a graphic, like you
Yeah, I'm
can
gonna
just like
slap throw it up on the screen real quick.
yeah. So it was this my old business partner was in San Francisco at that point, and he was still it was still reachable. So I was like, who's doing this? Like I want to be a part of it because I knew it was not available in Canada. And then after that, I pretty much just started a conversation. I was just like, hey, I bought a few cups from him, and then after that, I was just like, hey, I feel like I can, we can make it a thing. I had a lot of resources at that point. I was still going to shows and like meeting artists or whatnot. So I was like, yo, let me push this product in Canada, and so I did that. I pushed slow mo cups, which really took off. I think to a certain extent from 2016 or 2015, 26, around the when was the first All Star weekend in Toronto?
Oh, that might have been 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
2016, 2016. So it's from 2016 until 2015 until 2017. I was pushing it, but it really peaked around NBA All Star Weekend in Toronto in 2016. I did this event with Metro Boomin and Sunny Digital, which was pretty good. We had custom cups, and I don't know if you remember when a 40-ounce van still had a wave going.
Yeah.
So so we did a 40-ounce bounce with them as well, having custom cups. And then once we did that, it was just like a good product. And I was customizing this product for every event, like in the city. So I did a few events. Uh, I can name it, but like I think there's like Ebone was like an MC. Like I did his birthday. There was a few collective of people that used to just like throw events at Lost and Found. I did some cups for them as well. And yeah, like that's pretty much how I was able to somewhat like make my rounds in the city and let the people know what I was doing.
That's crazy, man. And for those, I know this is a video, but for those who know, like the name dropping, man, it's like you were really like tapped in. But just to even like pinpoint one thing for a bit, so I didn't even know that you were also at Montreality. But basically, by like 2019, you had already kind of did your rounds, with like a product, and then like like an event and a platform, if you will. But then you were also already in the space of like content and dealing with like people and whatnot. So that's kind of crazy how that was all was that your goal, I guess, or was it more kind of like because you said you were trying to, I guess, be a part of the culture.
Because like like the thing for me or just like for everyone was like part of the culture was like kind of into like hip hop and just like the pop culture as a whole. I think that everybody wants to just like do the same thing, but like there's so many different avenues for you to just like remain relevant within the culture. So for me it was just like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be a rapper, I'm not going to be a DJ or a photographer or I have a media outlet, then I need to have a product. And the product that made the most sense at that point, and even now, I think it would still be relevant if the company was kept going. But it was to have those double cups that I'm able to just go to parties, and then after that, I'm able to give that to the DJs and to the. I remember even Jay Soul. I used to track Jay Soul like when he used to be signed with Cash Money. I
Yeah.
seen him. I seen him once. It was at an event. I forgot where it was. I still got the pictures. I think on the Slow Mo Cup Instagram. I
And
saw him once, and every time that I was seeing him, I was just like, "Yo, like let me just give you more cups, and then you can just take that on road with you. It's gonna be like, yo, we can do some custom cups with your logo on it." Yeah, big throwback, man. Shout out Jay Soul.
nice. And now, I guess for the next part of the journey, what was the transition like between that point and then when you had co-founded the Cosmetic Lane? Like, what kind of led to that from there?
Um, so it's one of these things that I tell to every like young entrepreneurs that like you can't really fall in love with with your business or any idea because you never know that it could be gone in an instant, or like if something doesn't work, you have a business partner and it doesn't work, you have to pivot. So I remember it was like late 2017 or like mid 2017. We had to re-up on the like on the boxes. So the packaging of the slow mo cups, remember I told you it was very detailed. Like it was like that packaging was just like amazing. But we needed to re-up on it. And I think the next order, we needed to make an order of like, I think it was like 5 or 8 thousand cups.
Damn.
And then after that, we needed like something like 25K to just like re-up because like we ran out of we didn't have any more cups, we didn't have any more inventory. So it was like I think we had in total maybe like 15 and we needed an extra 10. And we're just like, damn, what are we doing? So we had two options. And like, when you play a video game and it just be like, yo, it's either you pick this route or you pick that route. Like my
Yeah.
life was like totally different because
Wow.
it was it was either we were moving to Atlanta and we were moving to Atlanta, and the goal was just to go and trap these double cups out of strip clubs, barber shops, and like the clubs. And we knew that in Atlanta, like it would actually would have took off. But then after that, my business partner he was living in the Bay Area at that point. He was just like, nah, he was not really trying to go to Atlanta, but it was really close. Like it was really close. Like we had to think about it for about 2 weeks. And after that, he was like, nah, like I'm just gonna keep like doing social media. And like 2017, 2018, like social media, managing and whatever, it was still fresh. It was just like, nah, I'm gonna pick up like a social media gig and I'm gonna trap, like I'm gonna make money off that. Um and then after that, we just discussed, and I knew that he was in Cali, and just me thinking California, I was just like plastic surgery. I was just like, well, you go ahead and you like find plastic surgeons to work like to create content and to manage a social media account. And after that, it was just like, okay, click. Like we did a list of about like 350 plastic surgeons, like from like all over the country. And there was one surgeon that gave us a chance. It was Dr. Fan in San Francisco. And we were like, the thing is that we were able to leverage the business that we had before because the Slow Mo Cup was published on Forbes. So it was on Complex, it was on Forbes. So it was like, okay, well, we're gonna leverage that, and we're gonna approach all the surgeons and let them know that if we are managing their social, and then they have a chance in getting published in those outlets. So there's one that just like took the bait, and he was like, okay, you guys are gonna work on my social for 2 months, but I'm not paying y'all. Y'all need to do it for free, and like let's see how it goes. and
Results.
the rest is history. But that's even before the Cosmetic Lane. Before that, it was Burger Media.
Word. And the sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm just like, one thing that I also kind of caught is I like how like the kind of transferable skills kind of rolled over, it seemed, because I guess you could, Montreality probably gave you access to certain spaces, especially in the music space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And then
Yes.
I'm liking how I'm assuming like your business practices from that and from the slow-mo cups is like the fact that you even thought to just like, let's get a list of all these surgeons and reach out to everybody and just try and like create that like momentum. And then like you said, you already had information already that you can plug yourself in. That's smart. That's like a key right there that not a lot of people actually pick up on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to use what you got. Like if you and it was just like such a brutal transition because I went from like being a guy that's in the club selling double cups to just like working with surgeons. Like some people were just like, "What the hell this guy doing? Like, what's like, what is he on?" Like back like 5-6 years ago when I first started. Like I remember a lot of people were still asking me for cups, and I was just like, "Nah, I'm not doing this anymore." Like I'm working with with these surgeons. They were just like, "What are you doing?" Like they were like. And people were confused, really, but like I guess like a couple of years later, the vision is clear. Um,
Nah,
just to give a little bit of a history. So Burger Media was with my old business partner, and like that's kind of like how I learned. I went through the trenches of plastic surgery, should I say? Like I was like going to conferences, and at first it was like really intimidating because we were the only like two black dudes that are just like tatted, and like we were kind of like urban in a space where it was all surgeons and everybody is like, went to school, Harvard, and they had all these diplomas and like their egos is like through the roof, and like walking in there, like it was really intimidating. But then after that, once I've learned to navigate, it became a little bit easier. But long story short, after doing that in the U.S. for a while, I came back, home in Toronto. And then I had the opportunity to work with he's still the biggest surgeon here in Toronto. His name is Dr. Six. His office is at the Fairmont Hotel, the one that's right in front of Union Station.
oh,
Yeah. So I worked there for a year. I was the creative director and like social media manager as well. So I had like other people like working under me because I already had like a lot of experience. And then after that, COVID hit, and
wow.
everything got laid off. And then after that, it was back to square one.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so
I you've like built your resilience obviously through that. So yeah, where did that kind of lead?
now, because COVID hit, is just like when COVID hit, like especially here in Canada, like everybody's just like watching this, like we got hit the hardest. Like nobody other like in the world, like my friends in Miami, they were still living regular. My people in Texas, they were living regular, and even the people in California that felt that they had some sort of like COVID restrictions, it was nothing compared to what we had going on. Like the gyms were closed. Like we had to go to the grocery store. It felt like I was going to the club. I had to wait in line, and you remember that was a crazy times. We had to go to. I remember I had to travel to go because I couldn't buy underwear at Walmart. You remember? Because like it was considered like non-essentials. You could only buy like the basic stuff, and like you couldn't even buy the basics. But either way, like so during COVID, the thing just another thing that I want people to remember is like the word pivot, because you got to be able to pivot no matter what's going on. So now in the middle of COVID, I was just home. I was just like trying to figure out what's gonna be the next move, and then Clubhouse happened. Clubhouse happened, and I was really early on it too. It was in October. It was around Halloween time. And I remember when it really started getting like popping. It was like later, probably like around like January of like the year after 2021. So I got on Clubhouse, and I was just like, it was mostly. I remember at first it was like Joe Budden, Tyga, a lot of A&Rs. Meezy was there. 21 was there. So I know a lot of people in the music industry still from like back in the day. So like I had access to the app pretty early, but I was just like, well, there's no plastic surgery group on here. And like me and Harmony, we were just talking, And I was just like, well, fuck it. Like I was trying to think about it, and I was like, fuck it, the Cosmetic Lane, boom, and the rest is history. I guess that was the first group that we were the first like plastic surgery and aesthetic group on the platform. While there was a whole bunch of like artists and A&R, but like we picked the lane that like I already had a lot of experience in. And then we were doing like weekly talks, weekly chats with surgeons as they were coming in on the app, because the app was cracking. At one point, Clubhouse was everything.
That was
I
it.
was waking up in the morning, Clubhouse, staying up until 3 in the morning, going back 7 a.m. I'm back on Clubhouse.
Real life, bro. Rooms are jumping.
So either way, long story short, created this thing on Clubhouse. We racked up over like on like in our room or in our club or whatever the case may be. We got like what 15,000 like people to follow us. And then we were just doing like weekly conversation. We did it for like almost like 3 months straight. So it was like once a week. And then after that, we like once the world opened up, we transferred those people from the Clubhouse to the Twitter, and the Twitter to the Instagram. And then after that, that's really when the journey, that was right before the journey starts. And then yeah, after that, and so that's pretty much how the Cosmetic Lane started.
I like that. I just want to point something out too. I think another thing that, again, bringing it back to like social media being a tool, it's something that I don't know if you knew it at the time, but like you basically were able to understand like a community. And then not only did you like, I'm sure like some of it transferred between like Montreality and especially Slow-Mo Cups, but like for you to activate that on Clubhouse, especially where it feels so personable and it's like conversations like over the app to like the other platforms, that's sick. Like that's basically like how you built a foundation and how you build a foundation with like a platform.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was interesting time, and like at that point it was people from like all over, like, and until now there's so many people that like we've met on Clubhouse. I have a really good relationship with his plastic surgeons in Utah. I was in Utah last year, and like I met him on Clubhouse. There's another surgeon here that now like we're kind of like he's a business or he's a client, but like we're also friends. We were just out like not too long ago, like a couple of weeks ago. His name is Dr. Keys. Like I added them on Clubhouse, and after that we had a discussion or whatnot. But like now these are people that I have like long lasting relationship with, just because I was early, and I was not scared to just like do something new.
I think another thing I want to point out too, were you always like keen on travel? Because obviously like you came to Toronto from somewhere, but then you're in the States. Like I could have sworn you would have had a dual citizenship by this point.
Mm-hmm. No, it's I think like when the journey actually like really started, I mean like hopefully the people that are like listening to this like will be able to just like go to my social or the Cosmetic Lane social and like really see all the places that we've been over the years and stuff like that since 2021. So it's been like 3 years. In September it'd be like 3 years since like I've really like been on the road.
Wow.
But it's been so September 2021. So after this whole Clubhouse thing happened, we said, okay, well, fuck it. Like we need to go on a road, because now all those people that we met that are like in Cali and Florida and Texas and Utah, Arizona, like they need to see us. They need to see like who we are. And then we were just like, okay, like fuck it. We just left, and we were supposed to go for 3 weeks. And just to go and connect with the people that we met online, and just like let them know that okay, we are a marketing agency and there's a certain service that we can provide for your for your aesthetic practice. But then we took 100 days, and we were supposed to leave for 3 days, and we left for 100 days. So like if we left September like the second or third week of September, and we came back like right before Christmas. It was like December 20 something. But on the calendar it was 100 days exactly. Like that's how like I wanna start something. It's like call it like 100 days of finesse, because we finessed for a whole 100 days. We went from we got in LA, and then after that it was just like okay, like look at all the different conferences in my industry that were going on. So like even if people are within, let's say like the music industry or in the fashion or into tech, like if you go into a certain area, you gotta like go on not even Groupon. What's the name of that app? Go on Eventbrite type tech events or type of networking event, and then you go and just based off that, like you're probably gonna have your own things to do. But if you have like a 4 or 5 different like networking event conferences that you can attend while you're going to a different city, then it's gonna be so much like it's gonna be so much better for you to just like collect or build a solid network with people that have a similar interest. So that's pretty much what we did for 100 days. It was like, okay. And at that point, like now I know people like TC. Right now, I know people. Before I had to rebuild because like the connection that I've made from my previous relationship, my previous like business, like
Mhm.
it was still there, but it was not the same. Like I needed to start over. So it was like, okay, like I don't know nobody. So like now I need to just go and like meet people. So like me and Harmony for like 100 days, it was like we go to one conference, we meet that person, go to their office, we shoot. Oh, I want to introduce you guys to such and such. Come with us. We're going to San Francisco. We're driving 8 hours from fucking LA to San Francisco. But like it was like listen, like, because I understand that most of the people they'll be like, well, like it takes money to do that for like 100 days of just like going from one business to the next and like try to pitch your services. But you just have to be smart and just make sure that like, because we were like hella cheap, like buying like 2 for 1s on Uber Eats, like we had to get the dingy Airbnbs, the small rooms, and like we had to find a way to make it last. But all we knew is that like we're not leaving here like we need to leave here with something, And then once we left, I guess it changed my life forever, and we're here now.
Bro, that you were dropping just bare gems within that one thing in itself. So, hey, you're gonna need a book called The 100 Days of Finesse or something.
Yeah,
Whatever you do.
no, the 100 Days of Finesse.
Yeah,
man, like it's coming.
Copyrighted. No one else take that because that's copyrighted by Justin Mob and Harmony. But I love that though, because even me, like from some of the content creation and stuff that I've done, or like my friends especially, just creatives like from Toronto especially, I feel like the people that do get to certain places, like there's a large amount of time that not everybody will see, where it's like it's the finesse, it's the trenches, it's like the having to like make things make sense and work harder to make it work hard for you later on, So I to completely understand, and I love the gem of just like doing your research. And like I don't know if like people are picking up on it, but the fact that you were even to think like not just Google but Eventbrite, let me actually like create an itinerary and make some understanding of like what's out there. I'm gonna put myself out there and try and like find those connections as well. That's actually super fire.
Yeah, and it's just like everybody, because now like the world is just like, oh, like we hold our phones every day. So like there's so many people that we know that are like from like all over the world. So if you know that like there's this person that's in LA or like in Miami that you've been following for X amount of time, then make sure that that person knows that you hold some sort of value. So whenever like you come to their city, they're gonna be like, okay, well, oh, I'm coming, so, like TC is coming like to Miami. You'd be like, okay, like cool, like I have a few people to introduce you to, like come to pull up. And I think that's really what made the difference. Like we were able to create some sort of value for ourselves. So whenever like we came to to Cali, like and it was crazy because even back then, like when we first started, nobody was doing what we were doing. Nobody was like a marketing agency specifically for like in the aesthetic industry, plastic surgery and stuff like that. So we were able to stand out like right off the top, and like it was definitely helpful. But don't get it twisted. Like regardless of like the 100 days of like how I was able to finesse my way to go to different conferences and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of people that helped us along the way too. And like I'm really grateful. Like I can say there's like right now there's 2 people that come to mind. There's RJ. RJ is in Southern California, so he works like he's like really higher up at this medical device company. Like he gave us all of his contacts, and like when he left one company, he took us with him, like with another company that he was working with, and like we're able to just like make some clients with him like at the next company as well. And there's Dr. Holden, who's in San Diego, and she just took us all over the world with her. We went to France, we went to Switzerland. Like, these are people that like really like took us like, as part of their family, and they were just like, okay, like we want to give you guys these opportunities because they saw the potential in what we were doing. So like always keep that in mind that like if you have something great to offer, then there's gonna be people that want to invest like in your journey. But you just have to make sure that it's something that's that's special and that's valuable.
Yeah, that's worth it. And I think one like major thing, regardless of if you have to travel to these people or not, just the fact that they're able to see like the effort that like you and your team are putting into to seeing this through, like that speaks volumes, you know? I rate
Yeah,
that.
most
Nah,
definitely.
I love that, man. It's like at the end of the day, it's always gonna be a thing of like resilience and like regardless of if you have to, like you said, being adaptable and being able to pivot and then just like understanding like how to, regardless of the lane, like decipher, you know what I mean? Like the different things. Cause it's like there could be a million and one platforms that are in the same space, whether it be sports or whatever, but it's like, what are you doing to have that unique selling point? Like you said, if there's something that like great that you have to offer that you believe in, like that will be
Mhm.
part. Okay, and then I guess the last question I was gonna ask. So I like how like in explaining what you just said with Sedation Inc. Like you're basically, I like how you're able to like identify the story and their unique points, and then like you're basically telling the story to a larger audience or positioning it better for a larger audience. Is that kind of like the goal with the Cosmetic Lane going forward? Like just to continue telling these stories for these people in the health industry? And then I guess how would like, because obviously you guys have the big ass following on Twitter. Like how does that
Mhm.
platform also play into your future plans?
So, you know how most people have there's a lot of marketing agencies that are, I guess, like niche. There's a lot of people like even within the aesthetic industry that are popping up that are only focused on plastic surgery or whatnot. But just being someone of culture, like I think the goal is really to make it a like a platform where people are able to, get the education, get the entertainment, but also get a little bit of, I guess, like the culture. Like I said, like I was just with the Claremont twins, like I was with Whoa Vicky. Like we have a couple of things coming up with like, a couple of celebrities. So I really just want to make it. I want to bridge the gap between aesthetics and culture. So that's really what's next with the Cosmetic Lane. So really try to push more content, on YouTube, Instagram, but post more reels, more YouTube shorts, and really just like we're still gonna be outside. Like I'm gonna be outside all summer. I have to go to to different cities, do interviews with people, and now anytime that there's a grand opening for a clinic or like a new aesthetic practice, it could be a med spa, it could be a like anything like I was just at the UFC headquarters like 2 weeks ago. So I spent a day with Dana White. He was getting like a muscle recovery treatment. So really being able to keep up with the times and just to showcase different high profile people and just like the average person too, getting those treatments because there's a lot of people that might have different perception or that might have I guess just like I don't know, that might be scared, or I might have how can I say that? Pre like how can I say that?
Preconceived notions, you mean?
Yeah. About about the industry. So my goal is really to debunk those myths and being able to showcase the truth.
And honestly, thank you for sharing like some of those gems because the fact that you're able to, like, a as a person of color, especially as a black man, and like aiming to add a perspective of culture to like what's going on. That's one really dope thing, and I think your journey is also just like it's just a if I were to sum it up in a word, like resilience and learning and adaptability, because like to be able to go through all these different things, yes, it's like still kind of within the context of culture, but like you played these different roles that all kind of like still added up together to where you are today, and I think that's really dope. But like
Yeah,
you adapted and stuck to it, you know.
it is, and it's just like now you see. Um, I was just at this plastic surgery office in Miami where I did an interview with this surgeon, Dr. Triggs, and Floyd Mayweather has invested in like 3 plastic surgery center in Miami, and that's the surgeon I was working with. He's working at one of the plastic surgery center that Floyd has invested in, and I'm just like, now with the whole BBL Drizzy thing, it's all over, like plastic surgery has literally like gone mainstream, but like that's why like I really have to step into like my power because like if someone is like has the experience and the knowledge to talk about these things, it's me. And like I'm still someone like of the culture. Like I'm not like a square or someone that like I have a little bit of both. So like I think that like I really need to step into my power, like use the platform that me and Harmony have created with the Cosmetic Lane to just like really try to like help the people understand more, what's going on behind the scenes.
That's it, man. Educating one BBL at a time.
One BBL at a time, man.
Again, really appreciate your time and everything, man. All the best. I know you're in Miami right now. You're at a conference, no?
Yeah. I'm heading to not in Miami. I'm in California. I'm heading to this the SPADES. It's gonna be a lot of a lot of athletes there. So like even with Sedation Inc. right now, it's the time for me to go out there and pitch those services, the treatment, because I guess like we need people that have disposable income. So I'm gonna run into a lot of athletes. So the goal is just try to pitch to them, what we do, and hopefully to get them to get an appointment. But if there's one piece of advice that I would give the people is that don't be scared to get out your comfort zone and to put yourself in spaces where technically, if like you belong, like wherever you would like to put yourself into, just go straight up and feel that like, okay, well, I belong in those spaces. Don't feel like too out of place, like because regardless. Because even for me, like I said, like as a black man, like working with like plastic surgeons, like I felt super out of place. It didn't matter if I was wearing a suit or if I was like, I just didn't feel like I belonged. But then after that, like you look a couple of years like later, and I'm just like, yeah, like I'm like I have a space for me to just like be myself and make some connection and build a reputation that's solid. So don't be scared. Get out your comfort zone and surround yourself with people that have like-minded individuals that are gonna push you to go harder.
That's it, man. I think last thing, if any of our guests wanted to send any direct questions or any kind of comments, where can they reach you and Harmony at?
Oh man, I would say on Justin Mob on Instagram. The Cosmetic Lane is also like our Instagram. I'll say like both of these platform will be easier. Like the email is a little bit later, but like we really take a look at most of our DMs. So feel free to send us a DM if you would like to have a consultation, or if you would like to just ask for advice. I'm open to a mentor, any young entrepreneur in the city, in Brampton, Toronto, GTA as a whole, that would like to get some sort of like mentorship on how to transition from being just like start up a business in Canada to the transitioning into making waves in the US. And then after that, it might just be easier for you to collect those US dollars while staying in Canada right now. You need that.
There you go. The finesse is open for you guys. You got it open. But no, thank you once again.
I appreciate you,
bro. Absolutely, bro.